We begin on the morning at day 31, and we go through the usual process of getting his motives up to put him in a good mood for work. A little bit later in the morning, we call Rowan to get the social need up and also maintain that relationship. After coming home from work, we call Eldon Hick and invite him over. Eldon so far is our highest maintenance friend because, as I've stated in the previous videos, he doesn't really like to talk on the phone for some reason. Haven't quite figured out why, but that's how it is. Eldon has brought a box of chocolates, and we revel in our friendship over some just absolutely riveting dinner conversation, followed up by watching some cartoons on the television. Actually, no, I think that's an action show now that I think about it. And he leaves because it's 1 in the morning. After waking up, we go through the same daily rigmarole of getting the motives up, having food, putting him in a good mood for work, even though we don't have enough friends to get a promotion. Oh, so it's gonna be one of those days. So after coming home from work, we call Eldon again to invite him over because he has decided he's not our friend all of a sudden. Afterwards, of course, the usual routine of feeding him dinner applies, except this time he was once again standing in front of the stove, so it looks like it's just salad. Well, would you look at that? We're friends again. Woohoo! After watching TV, I queue up some social interactions to raise their relationship a little bit more. And he leaves at 1:30 in the morning again. Same old song and dance for today. We call Rowan just to keep that relationship maintained and have a quick snack before we go to work. Prior to leaving for work, we have a very short phone conversation with Brooke Towney. She's a little receptive to a couple of speech bubbles, it looks like, but like the third or fourth one, she got really angry. Time to pay bills. We're all paid up, and I decide to socialize with the strays a little bit to build a social up, and I'm hoping at some point maybe we can get some local stray friends and see if they count towards the friend total. I proceed to annoy this dog in particular for an extended period of time. Alright, day 34, same old song and dance, call up Rowan, maintain the relationship. After coming back from work, call Eldon and invite him over. Basically trying to keep Eldon's relationship as high as possible because his friendship is the one that seems super finicky. So, as I stated in the last video, I'm 90%... Oh, well, okay, yeah, see, right there, lost him again. As I stated in the previous video, I'm about 90% sure that his relationship compared to Jimbo's is just super low. Like, it's just on the cusp of being friends, and that's why this keeps happening. New day, same routine. Call up Rowan, a great conversation's had by all, and we go off to work. As you see there for a second, we lost Eldon as a friend again, so I try to talk to him, because I, for some reason, keep forgetting he hates being called on the phone. So then I decide to call Kelsey Towney, because I know she's at least receptive to talking on the phone. Afterwards, we pay bills later that night, and then we go to spray some roaches. New morning, same routine, except this time I set the house on fire. Thank God for smoke detectors, especially in The Sims. So today I decided to keep him home from work because I'm going to invite Brooke Towney over and try to work on that friendship. As far as the game's concerned, they're not friends, but she does react positively for two... God damn it. While their relationship isn't high enough for them to be considered friends, Brooke does respond to most of his social advances pretty positively, so I figured she's going to be the easiest one to make at least the third friend. So after feeding her, it's just the usual routine of queuing up some social actions to get them talking to one another. Although I guess she wasn't entertained enough for the jokes, so that kind of sucks. More dinner later. It's kind of gross they're eating food that's been sitting outside for, what, like 6 or 7 hours at this point? Of course, the classic Sims bathroom shuffle goes on here. Luckily, she's pretty receptive to compliments as well. I don't know what her personality stats are, but he doesn't seem to have the issues with her that he does with some other Sims as far as anything other than just talking about interest goes. New day, same routine. Breakfast, call some neighbors. Gonna call Rowan, talk to him. I also called Brooke Towney this morning because her conversations are pretty short. Still received positively, but thankfully we actually got promoted. Finally. So $610 a day. And of course, to help keep our relationship up, we invite Eldon over. So at some point I looked at his career panel and noticed he needs a couple of points of charisma to advance, so I go ahead and buy a mirror. And we greet old Eldon. And go through the usual routine. After eating dinner, we sit down and watch some TV. Next day, same old routine, except, well, we piss ourselves, which is fantastic. Socialize with the cat a little bit to make up for the fact that he has to launder his pants now. As it stands, we're pretty clearly on the upswing here. Just have to maintain the relation... Are you fucking serious? God damn it! Ah! The classic Sims 1 difficulty strikes again, and Brooke is no longer our friend. Hooray. With all the strays wandering around the lot, I decided to buy a food and water bowl because if they're coming in the house, I should at least let them have something to eat. In this case, I'm kind of operating on the same logic I operate on with the other Sims, where if you feed them, they'll probably stick around for a little bit longer. So I decided to invite Brooke over again. This time she asks if she can bring friends along with her. And she brings 2 friends, so that's 2 more people I can eventually befriend to keep moving up the career ladder. And the usual routine ensues. Great conversation over dinner. Talk to Brooke about our interests. So having over 14,000 simoleons burning a hole in my pocket, I decided to do a little bit of rearranging the furniture in the living room and buy a nice big flat screen TV. Next morning, same drill as before, except we're throwing in paying some bills, call Rowan, talk to him, watch a little bit of TV, get that fun up. Then we decide to call Brooke again. This time, we invite her over again. Of course, this time it's just her. She didn't bring any friends over, which is fine. It's a lot easier to socialize with just one Sim. Where Eldon had this thing where he really liked to tickle Jimbo, she really likes to gossip to Jimbo. And he's never very receptive to it, and I suspect it's because I've got his personality points set to, like, super nice. At least that's my guess. I don't really know beyond that. Of course, we stayed home from work today, if you couldn't already tell. Later that night, same old song and dance. Entertain her a little bit. Go to watch some more TV. As the strays outside fight, and she goes home. Next morning, it's the same old song and dance, except this time I had a little bit of skill building to the mix, since he needs some charisma. And we get a phone call giving us $300 free. And then I go back to practicing a speech. Afterwards, I call Brooke again and talk to her again. That conversation lasted a little bit longer than the last few, so I don't know if that's kind of dictated by the personal relationship or what. Anyway, we get home, water some plants, and pay the bills. Next day, once again, I know I'm sounding like a broken record at this point, but same thing. Go through the routine, call Brooke over, and serve food.
This is fucked up.
Just, this next little stretch is just going to speak for itself.
Well, Christ on a stick. I guess there is a God.
Fuck you.
Oh, but that's not all.
He said.
Why don't you go fuck yourself, you fucking dick?
It's been a weird day.
Not willing to put up with that nonsense anymore, I go ahead and just send Jimbo off to work. And when we come back, we just pretty much go straight to bed. Day 42, we're still pretty far in on the routine. Y'all know there's not really much different going on. At this point, I just call a bunch of people to see kind of their work schedules and also who would talk, if anybody. Fortunately, a couple of them said that they were just straight up busy, which kind of sucks, but you know. And then I also called Kelsey because I forgot she works during the day. One thing that sucks with this part of the run right now is where we're at as far as career goes. We're working second shift, and that's not exactly the easiest way to make friends. Because, well, you're working most of the day. So, anyway, I decide to go uptown and see what I can see. I did this primarily just to meet more people, not so much to build actual relationships. I was really just more interested in seeing who he could meet up so I could call and, you know, bug them later to hang out. We go ahead and have dinner at the nice fancy restaurant here. And then we continue socializing, eventually moving all the way over to the pool table and the pinball machines. I can't remember if I had him grab ice cream or not now. I don't think I did. I think I was just too focused on getting him talking to as many people as possible. But he ended up pissing himself, so, you know, time to go home. So, lot time freezes in this game when you leave the lots, so it is still technically day 43. So in The Sims 1 and 2, when you leave the lot, time freezes, so we are still on day 43, even though he's left. The night of day 43, as you can see that stray shitting in my yard, we see Claire the bear, who has about the weirdest walk cycle I think I've ever seen. And of course she gets into my trash and knocks it over. Come home, we pay bills, we go to bed. Next morning, same old routine, fix ourselves breakfast, bug people on the telephone. I invite Brooke over this time. Basically just to keep working on building up the relationship. And I decide once again to skip work, so we serve food. And of course have the typical enthralling dinner conversation. And we are once again friends. Now if you'll notice, we are once again not friends. I don't understand the relationship system in this game sometimes. But it's just, it's whatever at this point.
Oh shit. Here we go again.
Now, of course, we become friends again and immediately go to not being friends again. As you can see, we ended and reestablished our friendship again. Woohoo! And then we reestablished it again. I really wish I had an answer for why the relationship decay seems to be this bad, but I got no idea. I just chalk it up to this game being really difficult as far as those things are concerned. Cornelia Goth comes over randomly, so I just decided to socialize with her a bit. She was pretty receptive, so I know in the future if I invite her over, she'll be probably somebody that I can talk to and bug and won't get pissed off at me. Day 45, same old deal. Get the motives up, talk to people. This time I called Cornelia, who really doesn't like being spoken to on the phone, so she's kind of on the list with Eldon there. While Jimbo's at work, I look through a couple of things in the build buy menu. I decided to buy him a guitar because his creative skill is pretty high, so when he plays, people are going to respond positively to it, which gives positive relationship towards him on their end. I'm not really sure why it works that way, but it does. So basically I can kind of cheese the relationship system by constantly playing guitar and then only having to work my side of the relationship up a little bit at a time. But that's where we're going to end this one for today. So if you liked the video, like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.